My name is Jonathan Lyle. I have an opportunity and privilege to represent District 5 of the Peachland Board of Supervisors. They've been teaching me the technology here. You're going to hear from a number of folks tonight, but Ellen Robinson is the District 5 School Board Representative. Martin Dean is the District 5 Planning Commissioner. And as I mentioned, I serve on the Board of Supervisors. In getting started, we can't really do anything except say thank you very much to Benedictine for allowing us access to their campus and this facility. Colonel, I don't know if you want to make any comments. Welcome. Tell us not to run in the halls, no chewing gum, no screens during class.
Sure.
What have you. This is.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jesse Grapes. I'm the president of the Benedictine Schools of Richmond. Some of my neighbors here at see. We have two schools on this campus, Benedictine, which is the all-boys school, and St. Gertrude, which is all-girls high school. You're sitting in the new St. Gertrude building. We opened this just a couple of years ago. I'm glad to host Supervisor Lyle and other guests from the county and try to be a good neighbor and a good part of the county and make it look good as you're coming across the bridge. So thank you all very much and enjoy yourselves this evening. If you need to use the restroom or anything, the facilities are right down that hallway there, so behind you to your right, and then first door on the left, restroom facilities, also water fountains in there if you need water. Thank you.
We are going to be going bang, bang, bang tonight, but I do want to recognize Rita Taylor from Congressman John McGuire's office is here. If you have problems with Social Security, VA benefits, or any kind of passport issues, he would be the person to see. I believe Delegate Commander Bard is here. She is. So if you're anything the state is involved with, please see her. I do also want to recognize David Owen, who is a delegate emeritus and has come out tonight. I appreciate him. I guess slow night at home on TV, but thanks for being here, David. Board of Supervisors, I believe I saw Tom Winfrey is here. He represents District 3. Neil Spoonhauer may be here. He's not easy to miss, but we do have other members of the Board of Supervisors. Constitutional officers, we're here from Amanda Adams, who is our clerk of the court. I don't know, the sheriff is here. He and I just had an interaction talking about the presentation. Is our treasurer here, our clerk of revenue, commissioner of revenue, Commonwealth attorney? Nope, okay. Appointed boards and commissions. We have a very robust volunteer network here. Arnie, why don't you stand up and let people see you? If you have zoning appeals issues, that can help you with that. Who else is here that's appointed? Do I have our trustees from the Montgomery Regional Library? I see somebody pointing, but I don't see. Okay. Sorry. So, I tell you, the mic works one way, not two ways. Board of Zoning Appeals, Recreation Board. Anybody here from Recreation Board? And also our Richmond Region Transportation Organization. Bob Ashton has served on that for a number of years. We do have a number of staff. If you're with the county, raise your hand or do something just so we recognize that we do have good support here from the county. And then we also have Philip Frazier, who is our resident engineer. And he is here, so when the VDOT questions come, I'm going to be coming with Frazier. And the screen just went blank. All right, so we're going to talk about a lot of things, and this will be bang, bang, bang. Let me tell you right now, it's going to be online. You don't have to take notes. So when you don't have the opportunity to write down a website that's shown on the screen, don't worry. It will be available to you. In getting teed up, I'm going to I've been, Ellen Robinson from our school board is going to come up and make introductions as to who all is here and how they're going to be presenting and some of the background on the folks that are serving you. So Ellen, if you would like to come up and just introduce and follow your script better than I'm following mine.
Not at all. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to District 5 Town Hall. I'm Ellen Robinson, Vice Chair and your District 5 representative to the school board. But I serve all our districts in Goochland, along with supporting all our schools and all their families. Serving as a school board member has been one of the highest honors that I have ever been able to serve. I truly enjoy being a part of the essential policy decisions, helping guide the budget that supports your schools, our schools, and their successes. I love listening to families, engaging with our schools, and being involved in programs that strengthen opportunities for all children, all students, which bring deep meaning to my role. My service on our Special Needs Parent Board, the Blue Ridge Governor's School, the Goochland Education Foundation Board, and most recently my new appointment on the CTE Board has allowed me to support students from multiple disciplines, and it helps their needs and aspirations and remains the center of all our goals. We are gathered here not just as residents of District 5, but as partners in fostering growth and prosperity while continuing to make Goochland such a remarkable place to live, retire, and raise a family. The strength of our community lies in our ability to communicate openly and work collaboratively. Your voice matters. Tonight we have the privilege of hearing and hosting an outstanding group of leaders who are dedicating their time and efforts to serve our community. First, and bringing to you this town hall this evening, is Mr. Jonathan Lyle. He is the Board of Supervisor for District 5. Mr. Lyle has been a steadfast advocate for our district. He graduated in economics and business administration. He was a business owner and entrepreneur. His most recent company worked with tourism on the Virginia for Lovers marketing across the Commonwealth. He served on the Monacan Soil and Water Conservation Board and as elected director from 2012 to 2023. Mr. Lyle believes conservation programs are important parts of our achieving goal to keep Goochland rural, and supports Goochland County schools by supporting the hiring of educators in the programs and the hiring of ongoing advancing CTE programs. Mr. Lyle continues to have an unwavering encouragement for the Virginia Farm Bureau, Chamber of Commerce, and Rotary, to name a few. On a side note, Jonathan has run 28 marathons, finished the most recent March 1st of this year in Newport News. This definitely shows that his legs are made of steel, and his community spirit is made of, well, whatever is stronger than steel. He still continues to support and have the energy to carry the daily weight of all things Goochland. Mr. Martin Dean, a new member to the Planning Commission, has already made a tremendous impact on our community. Martin is a volunteer captain with the Monacan Fire Station and served as the executive director of the Volunteer Association for a few years to oversee the renovation of 3 fire stations. He is retired from 30 years in the surgical device industry. Since retirement, he spends investing in real estate, which caused him to be interested in serving the citizens of Goochland County as a planning commissioner. To further his interest in the county, Mr. Martin is a graduate of the 14-session Goochland Leadership Enterprise. Because of Mr. Martin's distinctive involvement in the county, he brings a unique perspective to the Planning Commission and the practical infrastructure needs of the county. Dr. Andy Armstrong is our superintendent for Goochland County Public Schools. As an educator, leader, and parent, Dr. Armstrong is committed to ensuring that our schools provide the best possible environment for all our children to feel safe, learn, and thrive. He will be discussing exciting developments in our school system and how you might want to support our schools by volunteering to achieve those goals. Dr. Raley, our county administrator, has a keen understanding of our county's government role and implements operations that enhance our community's quality of life. He will be speaking about current county operations. Mrs. Amanda Adams, Goochland Clerk of Court, is a native of Goochland and is a graduate of Goochland County High School. She continued her education at Ferrum College, finishing in 2006, and later her Juris Master Studies at Liberty University. Amanda joined the Office of Clerk of the Circuit Court in 2015, serving as a principal clerk until her election in 2023 as clerk of the court. Since becoming clerk, Mrs. Adams has implemented a number of technology upgrades in the office, digitizing records and enhancing records and home title security. She has also expanded staff support for probate services, which she will be discussing this evening. So, let's get started with our presentations and make this an informative and productive evening. And make sure you stay for refreshments following the meeting. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I'm Andy Armstrong, Superintendent of Goochland County Public Schools. I just started my timer because Mr. Lyle made it very clear I had 10 minutes. And I'm not going to go a second beyond that. It is the honor of a lifetime to be here as your Superintendent of Goochland County Public Schools, and I want to thank Ms. Robinson and our school board for allowing me to be here this evening to share some of the exciting news about what's happening in our school division. I say this every time I speak to any group, whether you're a parent, a grandparent of a Goochland County Public School student or not, as a citizen, you're still an investor in our school division. Your taxpayer money takes, as you'll see in the slide, it makes a large impact on what we do day to day on behalf of our students. And that makes a difference for our schools, it makes a difference for our community, and I appreciate that and welcome your feedback at any time. I'll give you a slide at the end that shows you how to get involved if you'd like to come out, and then please take my card, give me a call. I'm happy to give you a tour of our school division, and please stay in touch. Our strategic plan grounds everything we do, every dollar we spend, every decision we make. We've had the strategic plan now since 2012. We've partnered with the Luck Corporation, their Interwill division, to create a succinct, very easy to understand, and meaningful strategic plan. It is up for its third iteration and approval this April by our board. And you can see here our three strategic goals. We are here to maximize each student's potential for a successful life, create an engaging and responsive experience where every student, as Ms. Robinson said, feels informed, included, valued, and empowered, and to enhance and support the instructional learning needs of all of our students and staff. And what that translates to for us in outcomes is really amazing. For a school division of this size, if you compare it to any other division in this Commonwealth, what we do on behalf of our students and families, the variety of offerings, the way we connect their interest to learning and the career pathways is truly remarkable. One thing I always highlight is our dual enrollment program. You can attend Goochland High School and earn college credit while taking your high school class and getting credit in high school. We're going to have 100, roughly, of our 250 graduates in Goochland High School this May. We're going to walk across the stage with not just a Virginia High School diploma from Goochland High School, but with an associate's degree from J. Sargent Reynolds Community College. That translates to time and money savings for students who are going on to a four-year college. For students going directly into the workforce, the associate's degree is research shows that is one of the, if not the most important tools to get on a sustainable career pathway. We are the smallest division in population to participate in this program in Central Virginia. But when you go to the Siegel Center for the J-Sarge graduation, who's got more kids walking across the stage? Goochland High School. I'm very proud of that and the work of our team, so that's one thing I always like to highlight here. We honor our veterans. Some of you may have participated in our veterans programs. Any veterans in the crowd this evening? See a few hands. If you're not participating, Rachel Tate is one of our social studies teachers. She is the Region 1 Teacher of the Year from the state of Virginia last year, one of the top 8 in the state. She has started this project where we bring veterans into our building. They share with our students learn from them. It is now being modeled nationwide. If you want to get involved, please reach out to me. We'd love to have you come out. If you want to get away from the stress and anything that's bothering you in the world and just get your mind on something else for a few hours, come and see our fine and performing arts. They are outstanding. This April, Mr. Birch and our theater department are going to present Oklahoma in the Goochland High School Auditorium. We have a fine arts festival on April 10th where we'll showcase all of our visual arts and performing arts. And you can see our chorus and band, who have been recently noted as superior blue ribbon schools by the Virginia Music Education Association. At halftime and all of our football games in the fall, we have performances in the spring. Go to our website and come out. We'd love to see you there to support our fine and performing arts. You probably didn't have robotics when you were in high school. I know I did not. We are now, I'd say pound for pound, elementary through high school, one of the top quality robotics programs in the Commonwealth. We have had teams that have gone on to state, national, and international competitions. And this is more than just the coding and the programming and the technical work. This is teamwork, this is soft skills, this is collaboration. It has really become one of our distinguishing traits in our school division is what we're doing with robotics, so something to really celebrate here. Athletics continues to be successful across all 3 seasons, fall, winter, and spring. Right now we have our lacrosse team that just came online about 5 years ago. They are now becoming a powerhouse in our region. We had state finalist swimmers, state finalist wrestlers, boys and girls, back in the winter. I don't want to forget our unified sports. If you haven't heard of unified sports, this provides an organized opportunity for our students with special needs to participate in organized athletics. Just this morning, I was at Goochland High School. We had a kickball game with Western Albemarle High School. And it's inspiring to see our students participating, but it's also inspiring to see our partner students who come out and help in this process. Truly inspiring, and again, something that if you have a chance to see it, please come out to the gym, come out to our field, and see our unified sports. I want to talk a little bit more about career and technical education. CTE, since 2011, has been really one of our foundational aspects here in the school division. It is something that we are known for. We have one of only 2 heavy equipment programs in the state of Virginia. We have culinary that supplies you with the delicious cookies you're going to get tonight on your way out. Please take one. We have our nurse aid program, carpentry, a variety of programs that are there on both our secondary complex campus, our middle high, as well as our G-Tech, which is located on Route 6. We put out for bid, yesterday actually, we published this, to get architecture and engineering services for the bond-funded project that's going to create secondary improvements as well as a CTE addition on the site of our middle high school complex. So we can take those programs that are in G-Tech, down Route 6 apiece, bring them onto the secondary complex, and create a flexible space that's going to accommodate our Academy for Robotics and Mechatronics. It's going to meet some workforce demand with Amazon, Eli Lilly. We're thinking about creating a child development center. That's another high demand career as well as early childhood education, as well as our other programs. So it needs to adapt. CTE is not what you think about maybe when you think about shop class. CTE is cybersecurity, it's planning and logistics. These are high demand, high wage careers that students do not need to go to a 4-year college to get into. They can make a living doing this, and they come back and they reinvest in this county. And we're seeing that already. We have seen students that have gone through CTE and they come back to our business education roundtable and they talk about the businesses they're leading, the industries they're working in, and they're making this county better. And that's something that makes me immensely proud to see our students getting back to this very county. So we're excited about this. More to come as we get into architecture and design. We look to open this up, we hope, in August of 2028. It's a really exciting project. It's legacy work for our school division, and I can't wait to show it off in a couple of years. None of this happens without our people. We have a tremendous team, whether that's your drivers, your custodians, your cafeteria workers, your leaders, your teachers. We have teachers and employees who drive past other school divisions and go an extra 15, 20, 30 minutes every day to come to Goochland, because that's the quality of life that we give them as employees. We value that. And when we're budgeting, which we're doing right now, we're bringing that all in for a land with the county here the next few weeks. That's our number one priority, is taking care of our staff. We know that in an atmosphere of a nationwide teacher shortage, that we have to stay competitive. And I'm happy to note that as we do budget for our needs, we look to have a 3% raise for all of our employees countywide in all of our schools, drivers, custodians, everybody, and teachers, as well as cover the increase in their health premiums this year. So it's a pure 3% raise, which is unique among many of the divisions in our area. So I do appreciate the county's support in that, their board of supervisors and our school board. We've been recognized for our financial management, and the new Goochland Elementary School, if you haven't been there, which is on Bulldog Way around the corner from the high school, opened its doors in fall of 2024. That was a project that was also funded by the bond that this community approved overwhelmingly back in 2021. It is a beautiful facility. I invite anyone to come out anytime and take a walk around with me. That was recognized as a CMAA Project of the Year, National Project of the Year, and we recognized that at our board meeting a few months ago. So a lot of great things happen in our school division. Just note, and I mentioned this before, when you invest in public education, that gets the highest fiscal returns. This is a Stanford economic policy study here. Of any other investment you're going to make as a locality. And we see that in the reinvestment we have now with students who have come back and are given to this county. This is a little bit more about the salary increase. I mentioned that 3% raise, and you can see there that that is comparable to what you're seeing from a lot of our competitor divisions. It keeps us in a competitive place in the regional market as well as in the state. And we know that that's going to be critical, because in all this magic, none of it happens spontaneously. It's due to the efforts of our teachers and our staff who wear the badge every day in Goochland County Public Schools. So excited to move that forward on behalf of our team. I want to talk real quick about the state accountability system. Of our 5 schools, we have 2 distinguished schools, 2 that are on track, 1 that was off track. The off-track school is Goochland Elementary School. There's a new rule this year in the accountability system that if you have one student group that underperforms, and that at Goochland Elementary School with students with disabilities, it drops your entire rank, one whole rank. I will say that Jay Lark made a recommendation to change that, so there is a possibility that by the time we get together here in the fall, that Goochland Elementary School is back on track. We'll see what happens. But all that aside, if it points to work we need to do, we're taking on that work. I appreciate the transparency of this new system. I think if you're advocating for students with disabilities, students of color, economic disadvantaged students, this arms you with more information than the previous system does. So we're going to tackle this head on. I am wrapping up, Mr. Lyle. Mentioned earlier enrollment trends. I think this is important for you all to know. Despite national and state declines in public school enrollment to the point where some divisions have consultants now and they're scrambling because they're losing funds because of their declining enrollment, our enrollment continues to increase. We've had a steady increase for the last 3 years, and that is with a robust private homeschool population. So we're still seeing an increase in public school enrollment, and we want to keep those class sizes small, which is why we need that really thoughtful budgeting here in our division. As I mentioned before, the vast majority of our budget goes toward instruction and technology that supports instruction. And then over 70% of the revenue that we generate comes from local taxpayers. It's from the county transfer. We have a 0.8 local composite index, which means that we get the least amount of money you can possibly get from the state and federal government. So we rely on our local taxpayers, which is why we want to deliver you the best product, whether you're a parent or not. A few challenges here, and you can read these, and these are, some of them are Goochland, some of them are universal. Recruiting and retaining staff, unfunded mandates. We know that we're keeping an eye on things coming out of General Assembly that could have a fiscal impact, and all that settles out in the next few weeks. Making sure we're planning for our facilities in the future, Randolph and Byrd being our oldest elementary schools now. Field space, with all these athletics, we need places to play, and we're starting to run out. And continuing to evaluate our device and screen time usage. We're going to talk with the board in April, our work session, about what's good for kids in terms of having devices in front of them, the amount of time they spend with screens. We want to be thoughtful about that and get ahead of that. None of these really are big surprises you probably see from any other school division. It just underscores the need for us to maintain our edge and to keep our team well supported. And I'm going to wrap it up. I'm slightly over, Mr. Lyle, I'm sorry. But I appreciate your attention. I'm going to stick around. If you've got any questions at the end, happy to take them. Thank you.
This is going bang, 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 so there's time for you all to ask your questions. And Dr. Armstrong is going to be here, and so if you were taking notes, he will answer those questions to the best of his ability. Dr. Raley and Denise Sandlin have worked just magnificently on our budget. And so in my world, the two biggest things a member of the Board of Supervisor does is budget and then rezoning and land use. For me, when I'm looking at the budget, I start off with four big, I would say, commitments that we deliver to you, and that is public safety, education, which is required by the state constitution, but even if it weren't, that would be an important part. Transportation, and then free and fair elections. So I like parks, I like libraries, I like our partner agencies, non-government agencies, but I believe the role of local government is those big four right there: public safety, education, transportation, and making sure that our elections are properly funded. We have an approach to the budget where we will receive monies from the state, from the federal government. We have some dedicated uses such as the Tuckahoe Creek Service District and utilities, but we operate from what are called general fund revenues. And this year we're projecting that to be $107 million. That is an increase of about 3.7% over the previous year. This pie chart gives you a color approach to how it is. This shows that we're getting about $79 million from general property taxes. That's real estate, that's your vehicle tax. We get other local taxes, such as, say, occupancy tax, TOT, temporary occupancy tax. We do get state aid, thank you, Delegate. We do receive other revenues. If somebody wants to make use of some of the parks and recreation facilities, there is a charge for that type of service. And we don't spend every penny when it comes into the treasurer's office. Our treasurer does an excellent job of investing that money. So you can see that we're getting $5 million from the use of money and property. So we're investing that in the local government investment pool, getting great rates. The treasurer of Virginia helps with that. And so your money is always working. How are we calculating this future budget? Well, we're almost 24 months in advance. So how do you project revenues? Well, everybody gets their assessment notice in January. And so that's going to cover the next 12 months. But what happens when you hit December 31st, you still have 6 more months to go in that budget year, but assessments haven't come out. Based on this budget, we're expecting or projecting, budgeting, that there will be a 4% increase in your real estate. So I guess you're hearing it here tonight. The value of your property is expected to go up about 4%. Now, if the rate stays at 53 cents, even though the rate is stayed at 53 cents, your property is more valuable. So I went a little too quick there. So if you currently are paying $2,650 in real estate come January 1st, when your real assessment comes out, if it is indeed 4% higher, you're going to be paying about an extra $100. The same thing with the Tuckahoe Creek Service District. That is 32 cents per $100 assessed. So if you're currently paying $1,600 on your TCO Tuckahoe Creek Service District tax, you're going to pay another $60 or so. That's our budget. Now, is that going to happen? Nobody has a perfect crystal ball, but if past is prologue, everybody's property value is going to appreciate. We're not in a scenario where property values are decreasing. That's conservative. I know my appraisal went up 5%. Overall, some folks have called and expressed interest in why theirs went up 8%, but on average, this budget is built anticipating come January of next year, you'll see a 4% appreciation in your real estate. Well, where are we investing that money? And I use the word invest, not spend, because there should be a return on this, either through service or through an attitude of public safety. You feel safe. Public safety and schools are the two biggest commitments that this budget makes. If you add those two together, we're close to 66% of the monies that you have entrusted to us that we have, if you will, taken from you. And this is where we're spending it, investing it. General government does have overhead. We need to have administrators. So far, building permits. There's a lot that goes on just in running an operation, a community like Goochland County. None of this is what I would call excessive. but at the same time, it keeps going up. I have made no apologies. I've looked, how can we cut taxes? And the fact is, if we were to cut taxes, well, let's look at this graph right there. You can see our general government's going up about 5%. Judicial is maybe 3%. Public safety is going up 9 or 10%. And that's one of my big four. If you don't feel safe, who cares about anything else? Health and Human Services, we're seeing a 5% increase. General Services shows a decrease, and that's because of some strategic reorganization Dr. Raley has done. A lot of the, if you will, grounds and maintenance was being done on Parks and Rec properties, so rather than have them under General Services, they migrated over to Parks and Rec. So you see Parks and Rec going up 28%, but that's really just a transfer of a service going from one department to another. They aren't really getting a 28% increase, it's just reallocation. Debt service, we do have debt. We financed the high school 25 years ago. Those bonds are almost completely paid off. That's why you're seeing a decrease in debt service, because as these bonds mature, we don't have to make as many payments on them. And then schools, it says to be determined, because when I made this slide, we did not have a firm understanding or direction on where we were going to go. At this point, it looks like we are going to increase our commitment to the schools by 4%, about $1.5 million, a little more than $1.5 million. So your money is being allocated, it's being invested, it's being directed to those core services that this board feels are important. Part of why we're meeting tonight is that you start telling us, and me specifically, is this a good decision? It's your money, it's been provided to the county to administer and to invest. If you have different opinions, I need to hear that from you. One example is that we talked about public safety. Well, our sheriff is really looking out for us as best he can with the resources he has. This goes back to 2020. So let's look what happened 5 years ago. In court-related services, he had 4 bailiffs or court security individuals. Now we're up to 6, and that was last year's budget. His full-time on-the-road deputies, 5 years ago, 38, we're up to 68. Correction detention, we do a partnership or a contract service with now Pamunkey Regional Library, sorry, Pamunkey Regional Jail Service, and the cost of incarceration, and also there have been more crimes that have required prison services. Animal protection, we've gone from 7 to 12 over the last 5 years. Some of those staff are in the adoption center. And then fire and rescue has virtually doubled, gone from 48 to 91. There's a robust volunteer organization here in the county, but 13% of the people who live in Goochland work in Goochland. So if you are working at the, say the CVS is a pharmacy down there on Broad Street near Carmax Field, it's going to be hard to respond to that siren when it goes off here. So we are building our career cadre in fire and rescue. We have not voted on the budget. There are critical dates coming up. And so on Tuesday, next Tuesday, there's a public hearing. Everybody who hears something tonight they don't like or hears something they do like, please come out to County Administration Building at 6 o'clock. Give us your thoughts. Share it with us. Tell us where you want to see your money being invested. On the 14th, we're going to set the tax rates. Those have been advertised. We cannot increase the advertised tax rates. We can decrease them. But as I've just shown here, we have built, or Dr. Raley and the board, in concert with Dr. Raley, we built a pretty tight budget. And then on the 5th of May, we're going to adopt the budget. So there's still opportunity for you to give us guidance. It's your money. We work for you. Tell us what you think on the 6th, on the 7th, and you can email us. Just let us know, and then we're going to vote on those tax rates on the 14th and then adopt the budget on the 5th. Transportation, if I get 1 phone call a week, I get 5. What's going on with the roads? I haven't yet gotten this one, but I'm waiting for the call that says there are too many squirrels on the road. What are you going to do about that? But what we do is work closely with VDOT. The road system in Goochland is maintained by the Virginia Department of Transportation. We are not Henrico. We don't administer our own roads, but we are part of a regional operation. The CVTA, the Central Virginia Transportation Authority, that has an administrative arm that actually administers an additional gas tax that was created, I suppose, and we get about $300,000 every month of gas money. So if you're buying gas in Goochland, you're helping pay for the roads here. If you're buying it at Costco, you're helping Henrico. You make your own decisions there. The Richmond Region Transportation Organization sits and it looks visionary. What are we going to do 5 years from now? How are we going to make sure people can get from point A to point B, and not just within Goochland County, but we are a region. We have people, as I mentioned earlier, who work outside the county. They would like to get to work and they'd like to get home. How are we going to administer and create road systems that do that? In transportation, we had Snowmageddon. That really closed down. In fact, the schools actually are still struggling with how do you get the kids back up to speed when they've been out for a couple of 8 days. Spaghetti Junction is the 5 roads that come in right by the country club, or Richmond Country Club, Pocket Road, Route 6, Tuckahoe Pines, resurfacing roads. When is my road going to be repaved? Speed limits, and then the Ashland 64 interchange. The county has recognized transportation as an issue, and so we have now a page on the website. So if you go to goochlandva.us/roads, you're not going to find out everything, but you're going to find out more information than previously had been available. So again, we're looking to deliver information to you. And as technology becomes more of a tool, we're making it available to those of you who want to look at it online or call me. Let's talk about Snowmageddon. People said, when is my neighborhood going to be cleared? Well, there's a hierarchy, and the interstates, as you might imagine, are going to be cleared first. There's the most traffic, and there's sometimes the most need, both from a commerce as well as public safety. You got your state highways, and those numbers start from 1 to 599. So Route 6, Route 250, 522. Those are roads that are seen as state highways that need to be cleared, and so that's where VDOT is attending to the clearing there. Major connectors, Hockett Road, Fairground Road, collectors, and they're still in the 600 range, but that would be Mannequin Road, 3 Chop, Dogtown Road, and then there's the neighborhoods. And most of your roads, even though you have names on them, you're going to find out they actually in the VDOT system have a number, and it usually starts with a 1, 1,000. So there is something I learned that's pretty cool, and I just did black again. So now, they have a website that shows you real time where the snowplows are. I did not know this. It's almost like watching Pac-Man. You may remember Pac-Man, we're going around eating up the little cookies there. If you go to this website, it's not going to tell you when it gets to your neighborhood, but you're going to see where it is, and maybe you can go out and offer chocolate and donuts to the snow driver, and he'll come into your neighborhood. I'm not saying that you would do that, but it could happen. So this is go to plows.v.virginia.gov public map, and again, this is all online. You can get this and put this in your phone when you want to look at it. When I took this screenshot, there were no snow plows on the roads. The map works. It didn't show any out there clearing snow that didn't exist. Spaghetti Junction is right down the road. It's right there, and it has been a discussion point, I'm going to say, for 10 years. Phil Frazier and I have been out there at 0:00 in the morning. We have watched the backup and the queuing that happens with that attempt to turn left. We have 3 schools. We have Collegiate Fields, we have St. Catherine Fields, we have Benedictine and St. Gertrude, so we got 4 schools. And so that is something that is going to be addressed, we just don't know how. So can we put a traffic signal in? Should it have a roundabout? Something is going to be done, but I can't tell you today what it's going to be. And so when the question and answers come, you can ask Philip and he'll tell you the same thing. We're working on it. Hockett Road to Route 6, it's been looked at. The analysis was the issue is at peak hours. VDOT is not scheduled to do anything there. I run marathons, and so I am not giving up. I mean, we're at mile 12. We have another 14 miles to go. So Philip and I are continuing that dialogue, but I believe there is a need because now the traffic is starting to come down Hermitage Road to 6 and then come east. It's coming down Mannequin Road and then turning going east. It's diverting itself, and that may be what VDOT or traffic managers, I don't want to pick on VDOT, but traffic managers say, well, they're using other roads, and so the backup's not as bad. I believe there is an opportunity for us to improve that there. Tuckahoe Pines has a right turn only exit, and people have said why we would like to go left. Part of it is because the speed limit's 55. The other is, and I'm just being candid, we have some seasoned and senior drivers, and sometimes the reflexes are not as quick to get across 4 lanes of traffic at 55 miles per hour. We do have a storage facility that's been approved. It's going to construct here over the next 18 months. They're putting in a second access to that property, so line of sight and the ability to turn right, still turn right, is going to be a little better, but there is no plan to make that a left or right turn. I-64 National Road, we have activity going on. Somebody may have heard that Amazon is going to open up a distribution center on National Road. There's also a contract distribution center. Axial is the owner. It is going to take time. It is not something that is going to happen next week, though there has been a right turn onto 64 headed west turn already put in. There's a temporary signal that's put in down just south, north of Wise Choice. I would guess it's going to be really bad 2 years of construction, and maybe around 2030 we're going to start to see improvement. But it takes time. It's been funded. It's moving forward. It's in the design plan, and I think it goes out to bid here sometime in 2026. Another project that anybody who has taken advantage of the $7 cheeseburger, $half-dollar cheeseburger at Sunset Grill knows that when you come up to that intersection on 250 and 6, you take a right and then you take a left at the Wells Fargo if you want to get to 64. This extension is going to put a roundabout in down by the veterinarian office, or Dr. Blick, dentist, my dentist, good guy, shameless plug, if you are looking for a dentist. So that has been approved, it's been funded, it's in design, and we expect in the next 2 years you will have an ability to come to a true 4-way intersection with a signal. Smart Scale is a funding means at the state level, and 2 projects have been approved on 288. I don't really know, and Philip probably could explain the details between what is an auxiliary lane and a hard shoulder. Both of them are using existing asphalt and allowing traffic on them. And you may have seen this up in Northern Virginia, where they'll have a green arrow that says you can go on this lane, or a red X that says don't. And so that is an attempt, not an attempt, that is an implementation to put additional traffic on existing asphalt and relieve some of the congestion that's occurring there. It's been funded. It's millions of dollars. I have to give a shout out to Neil Spoonhour, who's the supervisor from District 2. He sits on the CBTA and Plan RVA boards, or has, and has been just phenomenal in getting these types of programs approved. Speed limit studies and speed reduction. People would like to see traffic calming. The sheriff actually has advocated and has a study underway by VDOT going from the county line, Route 6, where anybody here remember when there was a drive-in there? I do. And all the way out to Blair Road. What can we do to lower it down from 55 to 45? River Road went past St. Mary's and all the way past past Benedictine and up here to this intersection up here. What can we do to calm or lower the speed limit there? At Cedar Run, I had an interchange or exchange today with some of the residents there. That is next to the Meadows, and it empties out or intersects with Hermitage Road. There seems to be some excessive speed there. The sheriff has worked closely with VDOT, done traffic counts, done speed monitoring. There are metrics that have to be hit before VDOT says this makes sense to adjust the speed or put in speed bumps. We aren't there yet. And then Hockett Road, it's, I would say, every third week somebody says, what can we do to lower the speed on Hockett Road once it gets the metrics? How much traffic can that road handle? And it's not yet hit those numbers where it's like we're going to lower it from 55 to 45. We're aware of it. I'm aware of it. I'm happy to continue those conversations with VDOT. I don't get to make the decisions, but I'm not shy about suggesting that we need to continue the conversation. Here's one of those longer than will fit on a fortune cookie slip web addresses. It's online. You can get it. And this talks about resurfacing. When is my neighborhood, when is my road going to be resurfaced? I'm not going to read this verbatim, but at our February meeting, Mr. Fraser did give us a list of what is scheduled for repaving or resurfacing in Goochland, and it's not every stretch of River, Patterson, and Broad Street. And the reason I say that is because they also have a map that you can go online and look, and I don't know, this little laser pointer's not going to do it, but if you go up and you look at Goochland, there's 64, here's Goochland, you can see that they have highlighted and put in red those neighborhoods or those roads that are scheduled for resurfacing. This screenshot shows the map was not updated this year. So again, look at that very long URL. You're able to go on and see for yourself. But going back one page, you can see Windsor Way, Goose Point, Hunting Ridge, Quail Run. Those are some of the District 4, District 5 roads that are intended or scheduled for resurfacing. Call me. I mean, again, I can't make VDOT do certain things, but I sure can advocate. But I can't advocate for what I don't know about. And also, don't be shy about contacting VDOT directly. They have a pothole hit squad. And so if you see a pothole, something that needs attention, they have the 800 number. You can do this online. And again, they do have the dashboard. So again, my intention is to make you aware of these resources. And I don't know if I'm talking too quickly, but I'm watching time. Amanda Adams is our clerk of the court, and she's going to talk to you about probate. She's going to talk about title security and a celebration for a 200-year-old courthouse. Amanda?
Thank you, John. Well, I was only given 4 minutes to talk. I think Jonathan went over his time, so I'm going to make this very brief. So, first, one of my passions has been deed fraud. I know that this has been a very big concern of a lot of you. Now, there is nothing that you can do to prevent it. If it does happen to you, there are some steps that we can take to do some proactive stuff. So what I have found is that I am implementing is this new Virginia deed fraud system. So what you can do, there are some brochures out in the lobby. It's very simple. You just go in and you can put in email address, and you can put in up to 10 different ways, like if you have however you want to do your name. So if you have your name, like your first name, middle name, last name, or you can do first name, middle initial, last name, and you can do your spouse the same way if it's a joint deed. And then also you would need to put in your tax map number and your GPIN number as well. And again, it's 10 different ways that you can do it. And if there is any hits off of it, then it will send you an email to let you know. Now, the best way is always going to be to come to the courthouse and look at your deed. Search it. You can see our records are always open to the public. We are open 8:30 to 5. But this is a good tool, and I think that this is what I wanted, so we can have some kind of protection for everybody. And then also, the county does have the transfer property notification system that does go out once a month as well, and that will show all of the transfers that have gone on for the month for the whole county. So that is a good tool as well. Now, my biggest passion is probate. I will be doing a seminar on April 24th. You would not believe how many people do not have a will or do not have any type of estate plan. It's very concerning, and I just want to make sure that every citizen in Goochland has some kind of estate plan. I know it's not something that you want to talk about, it's not pretty, but I just hope that everybody takes this to heart and really does think about it and you'll get something done. This is a good start if you just want to just see what's out there and see what your first steps would be. So this is open to the public. You don't have to sign up for it. You can just come. It's in the county admin in the boardroom at 1 o'clock on April 24th. And our courthouse is actually turning 200 years this year. So we will be celebrating it on September 19th. I would invite everybody to come out. We are going to do a big celebration. There will be some fun things that are going to be going on. Hopefully we'll have a time capsule that everybody can participate in. Hopefully we'll have the schools. They'll be able to have the kids participate with us. There will be a lot of community events that are going to be going on, and we will have a historic walkthrough. So I hope to see everybody out there. That's all I have. Thank you for letting me talk for a few minutes.
Real estate assessments are how we raise our tax revenue primarily, as you saw. 73% of the budget is coming from real estate. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. People say, why did my property value go up? The tax rate stays the same, the property goes up. So if you had a $500,000 home, your appraisal, as I mentioned, we're predicting it'll go up 4%, or budgeting that it would go up 4%. You now have a home that is $520,000, even with a 53% static rate, you are now going to pay about $100 more a year in taxes. The same thing happens with the GCSD. It stays at 32 cents, but your home value is higher. In Goochland, we assess annually. Not every county does. And so there is, I don't want to call it a black box, but there is an algorithm that is utilized to ascertain or assign a value to your property. When was it built? How big is it? How much acreage is on? And probably the most important is what have houses similar to it in your area, I'll say neighborhood, sold for. So there is a state code. I'm not going to read it. Yes, I am. 58-1.13259. That we will have assessment values that are no lower than 70% of what they're selling for, and no higher than 130%. And the assessor's office has been pretty spot on. Not active, not 100%, nothing is. But you can see in 23 they're hitting 97, in 24 they're hitting 97, and last year they were hitting 98. The assessment to sales ratio. So if your neighbor's house was assessed for $100 and it sells for $102, it's falling within that state mandated range there. We've got a dashboard. I tell you, Dr. Rayleigh has done a really good job of pulling us, sometimes kicking and screaming, into the 21st century, where we have more and more dashboards where you can go to the county website and see this information yourself. So the assessor's dashboard shows that in the first 2 months, we're still in March, we were at 101. So there's about a 1% variance between what homes were assessed for and what they're selling for. So it's a requirement by the state. So when you have issues with your assessment, you can have a conversation with the assessor. You can have an informal appeal. You sit down and say, hey, wait a minute, that above-ground pool really didn't add $50,000 of value to my house. You can have a formal appeal. You can go to the Board of Equalization. And if you're really upset, you can go to the circuit court. Now you might say, why would I do that? Well, there have been a number of appeals, and the assessor's office maybe isn't appreciating this, but you're going to see that 78% of those people who appealed or had an appeal in 2024 had an adjustment. Of the 125 people who had an appeal last year, 70% had an adjustment. Now this does not tell you that these were all in increases. So they appealed and they got an increase. That's a joke. What I'm saying is that if you truly don't believe that your house has been fairly assessed, there is a process. The assessor's office does a great job meeting with you, having those discussions, and actually, as they did with me, explain their process. And I walked away better informed, maybe not as satisfied as I'd like to be, but better informed. Most of Goochland is on a well and septic system, but we do have two areas, the courthouse and eastern Goochland, that we have municipal utilities. We are really lucky, I would say actually really smart, in hiring Elizabeth McDonald as our Director of Public Utilities. Just this last month, or earlier this month, she was named as one of the top 250 public service stars in the country, not just Virginia, but the whole country. And since she has joined Team Goochland in September, she has done something that I have been asking for the entire time I've been on the board. And that is do our fire hydrants work. And we have a finite number of fire hydrants. We know where they are, we know where we put them in, but we did not have a maintenance schedule. We did not have what I consider to be a combat-ready schedule saying, yeah, they all work, and they can put out fires, or no, they don't. So in strong partnership with the fire rescue team, we have that report, and every month it's updated. So I really appreciate Elizabeth and Chief Ferguson working and collaborating, bringing that kind of public safety to bear for us here. We do have some other issues or projects, opportunities. The Ridgefield Booster Pump Station, that is being done to address some of the water pressures. Do we have anybody here from Lower Tuckahoe? I know we've been having some robust conversations with the HOA there as to what do we do about water pressure. I saw a really interesting report at 3 o'clock in the morning. Water pressure in Lower Tuckahoe really drops. Everybody's watering their lawn, I guess, at 3 in the morning. And there has been discussion, if your house number ends odd number, you do it on Tuesday. If it's an even number, you do it on Thursday. But Elizabeth and the Department of Public Utilities is engaged. They are looking at this and they're making changes. The ad valorem tax, I get calls on that. Why do we have it? When's it going away? What's it for? And it's for the bonds that were issued in order to pay for municipal water and sewer in the Tuckahoe Creek Service District. We've been expanding some of the service within the Tuckahoe Creek Service District in the service areas of the DPU. We have new subdivisions that are coming on, Highfield, Songbird, Hickory Haven, which is an established neighborhood, has recently hooked up to the service. Connection fees, people say, why am I having to connect to the public service department? I've been paying the ad valorem, or I've been in this system for years, I just have never connected. There's a recovery of costs. I mentioned the fire hydrant servicing, and then I had spent some time with several citizens who had just exorbitant bills. It was like, why is my bill $400 this month? And so we investigated, is there a leak at the meter? Is there a leak inside the house? I'm not again saying that the public utilities folks will always do this, but they will have a conversation, and I believe there is an opportunity to get out of jail free once or twice, well, the same ones. If you have a really goofy bill because somebody left the back hose on while you were out of town for a week, and that does happen. We found out why that water bill was so high. Aqua Virginia is a private provider. They have a service in the park at Mannequin Farms, Old Oaks. The county has nothing to do with those folks. They have their own state corporation commission rate schedule. And so the areas that we serve are in the courthouse and in the eastern Goochland. I mentioned the Ridgefield Water Storage and Booster Station. It's being planned. It will require debt service. It'll be about $11 million. It is to help with the development that's taking place in West Creek, as well as some of those service issues that we're seeing in some of the established neighborhoods. So we want to meet existing demand. We want to meet future demand. And as that is progressing, we're going to have make a decision. How do we finance it? Do we go to a general obligation bond, or probably not, because it's very specific to utilities, but there is the Virginia Resources Authority makes funding available on something like that. Repayment is going to come from the people who use it. I'm on a well and septic. I'm not going to be paid to repay that. If you are getting the benefit of this new service, this expanded service, there will be an impact on the utility bill. Wouldn't want to be otherwise, but transparent on that. Anybody here from Parkside Village, District 4? There is a conversation, that is a very, very key word, conversation taking place, where we would have a loop that goes into the Henrico water system that would address some of the issues so far as, I'll call it stale water, and just the cycling and the recirculation of that. It's not a District 5 issue, but I believe that we're all one county, and so if there are things that our utilities department can be doing that make life better for the people using those services, we should investigate them. We've invested about $150,000 in schematics. Again, conversations are taking place, but there is a need and a requirement, which makes sense, that Henrico says, yeah, this makes sense, and it's a benefit, and it's something that can be pursued. The regional residential rate, people say, why are my water rates going up? They're going up everywhere, not just in Houston, throughout the Virginia and also the central region. Ours in Houston have gone up less than many. They're still going up, but not as much as you can see. Chesterfield was going up 4%. I would not want to live in the city of Richmond at 5% increases, but there is a need to cover costs. And as our system gets older, there's going to be more repair and replace. And so, again, we are blessed with a really good utilities team. They're going to keep us apprised of that. There aren't going to be surprises. Meetings like this, you're going to hear about it before they happen. Tax rates, what are we doing with real estate and ad valorem? A lot of this has already been touched on. We got the 53-cent tax rate. It's the lowest in the region. It's been that way since 2007. I have asked what happens if we cut the rate from 53 to 52 cents. Well, that would diminish the revenue coming into the county by about $1 million. Then the question is, what $1 million project or service do we not want to fund? Do we want to take it away from Parks and Rec? Do we want to take it away from public utilities? Well, not public utilities, they're separate. We would take it from the sheriff, from the fire rescue. Where do we not want to commit money? And I have not gotten an answer. And I would welcome a conversation with you saying, hey, I want a tax cut more than funding for X, Y, Z. And as your voice on the board, I will entertain and ask for that conversation. If that is not a conversation you want to have, we don't need to have it, but I have a reflex of take less money from taxpayers. I'm a smart person in my own mind, but I don't want to spend your money better than you. And so if you keep your money, you decide where to spend it, but I am committed to public safety, transportation, education, and free and fair elections. And so I'm going to want to see funding properly that will allow those four primarily big services be met. So if we cut it by a penny, if you have a $750,000 home, you're going to see a $75 cut in your taxes. And if that's something that you want me to pursue, I'm happy to. Anytime we want to cut taxes, I'm happy to pick up the mantle. We looked at this earlier. We're going to see the 4% projected increase. Again, I've already talked about what that might mean in a black button again. Now, Tuckahoe Creek Service District, we had a conversation before the meeting started saying, well, we've got a lot of debt, when are we going to get rid of it? This is a significant tax cut, because once those bonds are retired, that 32 cents per hundred goes away. It is only to be used to retire the bonds and for repair and replace. We cannot use it for schools. We can't use it for libraries. We can't use it for public safety. It has to go to retire those bonds. I had a conversation with, I'm going to call him out, Mr. Levitt. He helped me make sure my numbers were right, because there was a prepayment of $19 million in 2024. So as cash comes in and it's not needed for some of the operations of the Tuckahoe Creek Service District, not only is there an opportunity, there has been action to retire those bonds early. And if passed with prologue, and we see a 6% increase in revenues coming into the district, by 2030, that tax would just be a bad memory, not a fun memory. So movement is taking place. We're trying to get that bond retired out of there, and there's a lot of benefits that come from that. Public safety is probably the most important thing I believe any government does, whether it's a federal level, national defense, state level, with state police, and here in the county. Martin Dean is on the planning commission, but he's also a volunteer captain with Station 1, which is right down the road. He's going to speak to this a little bit. Our sheriff is here as well, so as questions come up on what are we doing and how are we doing it, both at Q&A and during this part, Martin's going to share some information on public safety.
Thanks, Mr. Lyle. I was given 10 minutes by Mr. Lyle to talk. As a firefighter, we're trained to get out the door in 2 minutes. We're going to shoot for somewhere in the middle. Thanks for coming in tonight. I've been asked to speak a little bit about public safety, a couple of highlights from that, but please know that Sheriff Creasy and his leadership team are here to answer any questions, as well as Chief Ferguson and his leadership team. So I'm just kind of facing the mouth for the moment. But they're the ones that you want to talk to about a lot of this stuff. It's a great year. It's the 75th year anniversary of the Goochland Volunteer Fire Rescue Association. This organization was founded by a group of courageous, concerned citizens back in 1951 when the Dover Baptist Church on Manhattan Road burned. They recognized there was no way to put that fire out, and they organized the Volunteer Fire Association. So 75 years later, what is the relevance of the Volunteer Fire Association? Well, I'll tell you that it has trained many firefighters and EMS providers in this county, and that provides resilience for this county. It provides prevention for this county, and it provides action for this county. So you've got a lot of eyes on swivels looking for dangerous things that be mitigated ahead of time to keep it safe. Got a lot of people who are there to scale a fire response or an EMS response because they're trained and able to serve. And you've got some assets that the association is able to bring to the table for the county fire rescue department to use. So celebrate, support them. It's a great organization. We're still looking for volunteers. I'm all about a volunteer. You're all younger than I am. Please volunteer. All right? So public safety is one of the government's top jobs. You've seen this slide before. Nope, not this one. But this slide gives a little bit of history on how much the mission has grown for each of these two departments over the last 5 years. It's slated to continue to grow. And this really just sets up the next slide, which you have already seen, which talks about the resources necessary to support that mission. And this is part of that budget conversation that Mr. Lyle was talking about, that you can be involved with on April 7th or by conversing with him in the meantime. But it's a substantial investment. A lot of things go into it. People, equipment, facilities, systems, all that need to be funded. So the Sheriff's Department has grown quite a bit. Sheriff Creasy can speak more about this stuff, but everywhere salaries goes up. Training is becoming more critical. The job is not getting simpler. Technology crimes are on the rise. They are fantastic at addressing a lot of these things. Jail expenses have gone up. You all know our population has increased. We've also changed our population a bit from single-family residential. Now we have more multi-family units, and they have a little bit different profile when it comes to enforcement. As always, government receives unfunded mandates, and those need to be addressed. And there's an increase in the number of 911 dispatchers that's needed as the number of calls increase. One thing that's great about public safety, and one thing that the Sheriff Department does that I'm aware of, there are many other things, is that every school has a dedicated resource officer. For me, this is important because it's sharing the culture of law enforcement and law abiding to our youngest citizens. And that carries forward as they grow, and that creates an environment which prevents people breaking the law. There's also a great program I've taken advantage of, which does take time and resource, and that's called Vacation Watch. You can access this through the Sheriff's website very easily. If you're going on vacation, we've got a lot of homes that sit down long driveways in the dark. They seem like a prime place for a criminal to show up where they want to do that. And the Sheriff's Department will dispatch deputies there and just increase presence in the area. And I happen to know they will walk the perimeter of your home because they found an unlocked door when I was on vacation. So thank you, Sheriff, and your team for doing that. That's a great service they offer. I'd encourage you to take advantage of it. They also have a drug take-back program. As we age, we tend to get a lot more of those pill vials on our shelves. Don't throw them down the toilet. Don't throw them in the trash. Don't save them. They'll take them back, and they do that a couple times a year, and it's well advertised on their website. So all those things require increased budget. Fire rescue, combined operation, both from fire service and ambulance service. The residential population has grown, our commercial base is growing, and we have an increasingly older community. For some reason, Goochland appeals to us folks who are seasoned. As we age, our demand for those services does increase, and that does increase the number of calls along with the general population. As the area grows, we also have increased incidents on our interstates and our roads that we have to respond to. Volunteer population, our volunteers, a healthy organization. We had more people join the organization last year than we have in many years. It's a great training ground for future professionals, but it's also a great place to serve the community, and they do help scale the organization, and we do staff the stations on a regular basis. We do have an increased need for fire rescue professionals. The current price tag is about $129,000 a year. That brings them on pays for benefits and gets them the equipment. Does not include the training necessary for them, but there are increasing needs in the sheriff's office and in fire rescue for resources from our tax base. You can see our environment is changing. Chief Prophet recently had a training program that I participated in. Everybody rotates through it. We had a chance to go to the Amazon facility. We also had a chance to go to, in your upper right, that's the warehouses that were built on Ashland Road that at some point will have stuff in them. We'll wait to see what. But the Amazon facility is phenomenal, but it's almost 3 million square feet, and it's going to have some cost to it. So all of these increases in population and business do increase the demand for service. Department of Fire Rescue recently added to their website a phenomenal dashboard. So if you have any questions about number of calls, types of calls, or this one, which is really cool, a heat map showing how frequently calls are made to each area of the county. And you can see that the aging population is kind of the heat spots that we see. That's driven a lot of increase in call volume and need for increased resources. So visit that dashboard on the Fire Rescue website if you want more information. On November, I have my glasses on, that's an 8. I missed that call by 1 day. There was a call on the 288 bridge over the James River. As a practice, fire rescue on any on-road emergency puts a piece of equipment, the heaviest piece usually, as a blocking apparatus to keep folks from running into the accident scene. For some reason, drivers are like moths to a flame. When they see those flashing red lights, their steering wheel just points to them. This fire engine was totaled. The replacement cost on that is north of $1 million. I share this in the next slide with you to remind you personally, and also to be very aware that there are, Chief Ferguson might miss one of you, but there are the 5 Ds. There's distracted drivers, drowsy drivers, drunk drivers, drugged drivers, and dumb drivers. Don't be any of the 5, and watch out for other people who have chosen one of the other Ds to be that. I'd like to share. But we're there to protect you, and sometimes that sacrifices an apparatus. It's been a long time since we've had an apparatus hit when it was blocking an emergency scene, but in February, we had the same thing happen again. Again, it would accompany one engine, and this was a reserve engine. So this was an incident on Route 6, and somebody wasn't paying attention. This one happened to be drugs. And we fired into the engine. This one is not total, but a very expensive repair. It's been out of service, and it's not yet back in service. So it depletes some of the resources of the county when these things happen. So I share this with you just to say, be careful out there. Keep your head on the swivel. Next thing we'll talk about is Fire Station 7, near and dear to this community, because it will be placed right on Hockett Road, near the intersection of Tuckahoe Creek Parkway. That had been paused, it is now unpaused, and it's an active project. Shortly, the architectural and engineering contract for that will be awarded. It appears that will be awarded to the same firm that designed Station 8. So there are some economies of scale that the county is realizing as a result of using that same firm. The Board of Supervisors is currently working out how to fund that. So if you have ideas or donations, talk to Mr. Lyle. Well, the taxes are not donations. They're compulsory. Otherwise, Sheriff Creasy would show up. No, you don't need tax enforcement. No. This is just an overview of the early draft and rendering of Station 7 behind. So you'll, over time, start seeing some activity on that site. So we talked about a lot of numbers. You've seen a lot of numbers. You've seen some other things we're talking about going on in public safety. When I was in business, I was keenly aware there were inputs, right? Things we put in people, we put in systems, we put in equipment, we put in processes, we put in buildings. I had to worry about that. But what I was really focused on was what do we get from it, right? So how do you measure safety? It's a difficult thing to do, but I would submit strongly that Goochland is a very safe place to live your life and for your families to live their lives. It's not only safe today, but the culture of safety is being instilled in our youth, by Sheriff Creasy's organization and Chief Ferguson's organization. It's being instilled in the volunteers as they get trained, and hopefully instilled in you through presentations like tonight. Pay attention on the roads, neighborhood watch, programs like that. So be engaged, be involved. And your attention here is appreciated. I have one more slide to share, which is a great joy. We're fortunate in this county to have great leadership in both the Sheriff's Department and Fire Rescue. And one of those individuals was recently awarded the Chief Officer of the Year for the state of Virginia, Commonwealth. And your applause says it all, so somewhere between 2 and 10 minutes I'm done. Thank you.
Teamwork, sir, teamwork. Economic development. At the last town hall meeting in September, a lot of folks showed up and they wanted to talk about something called the Technology Overlay District. And that ran its course. And part of what my colleagues and myself are interested in doing is lowering your tax burden. And we have to do that by growing the commercial base. It doesn't all have to be in the Technology Overlay District. We have brought on a new member of the team, Sarah Worley, who headed up economic development and is now a deputy county administrator. She has not lost her chops. She is a great resource. She has given guidance and encouragement to our efforts. And a lot has been going on. I've mentioned several times the Amazon Distribution Center on Ashland Road, the Axial Distribution Center. You saw some of the pictures. It's getting close to getting a certificate of occupancy, which means that their taxes are going to change to the positive. But Lilly is coming. They have, I believe, filed their plan of development. So they're coming. And if you drive, anybody drive down West Creek and look at some of the timber that's no longer there that used to be there, there is a lot of activity going on with the West Creek Commerce Center. And then Amazon has a second distribution center there, which will be the small vans that actually bring you your coffee, your tchotchke, whatever it is that you ordered online. We have a Honda dealership right on the county line. They, unfortunately, think that they are in short pump, but their taxes are coming to Goochland. Just be comfortable with that. Across the road from me, I live on Mannequin Road, Dover Hall Experiences and Seven Lady Vineyard. Dover Hall was named by Condé Nast not once but twice as the premier wedding destination in the country. So we are a tall cotton when it comes to some of those recognized facilities out there that are tourism as well as their tasting room is underway and should be available for us to visit in the not too distant future. HG Meats is putting a USDA processing plant for both beef and pork in the western part of the county. Burke and Herbert, which is a Northern Virginia banking institution, is putting its first facility in down by the Residence Inn. Seven Brew Coffee, I guess, is coming in to do battle with Starbucks. And then the EDA, the Economic Development Authority, is also investing monies to help get property to what is termed in economic development Tier 4. And that means many of the fundamentals that involve what kind of environmental impact, what is the traffic impact analysis. That kind of pre-work is being done so that when we have fill in the blank, XYZ come, we can say this facility, this site is already ready because we've done the environmentals, we've looked at traffic impacts. Let's make a deal. And the property taxes, once again, if we move towards and work towards that 70-30, is right now we're at about 18.5 versus 82. I mean, it's not near the 70-30 that we would like. Once again, the more commercial taxpayers we have in the county, the less we as homeowners are going to have to pay. The Rockville Opportunity Corridor, which is a lot of 623, is developing. It's busy. There are other conversations going on, I've been told. I am not in those meetings, but Goochland is becoming a known resource. And again, we get a cornerstone like Lilly coming to the county. I don't know who makes those little gel caps that medicine goes into, but that would be an ideal business to go in right next door, and they can literally just shuttle those gel caps across the road to the Lilly. So those kinds of synergistic economic development is taking place. Again, you can see some of the pictures. You've got the Axial, you've got Amazon. The West Creek Commerce Center is having a groundbreaking here in the next couple of weeks. Things are happening in Goochland, and again, this is not by accident. The EDA and the Board of Supervisors, we are trying to get our commercial tax base increased. We are a little long, but I've got 10 topics in 4 minutes, and it's everything I've been gotten calls on the referendum, what are proffers, library kiosks, the Reynolds campus. So we're going to go bang, bang, bang on this, and once again, this is all going to be online and available to you. The redistricting referendum, it's April 21st, and the Wall Street Journal and the Washington Post both agree this is a single party's approach to making a redistricting to their advantage. It's being justified, and I've talked to my friends who are in the Democrat Party, I've talked to my friends in the Republican Party. I think you folks know I ran as an independent this last cycle. I am a libertarian with Republican tendencies. I want to stay out of your life. I want to take as little of your money as I possibly can. I want to let you live your lives as best you want. But I work the polls in 2020, and I work with Democrats, I work with Republicans, I work with virtually everybody across the spectrum to get a nonpartisan redistricting amendment into our state constitution. You had Common Cause, you had the League of Women Voters all saying this nonpartisan approach to redistricting is the right way to go. Nobody has come to me and said, we got a problem in Goochland, or we got a problem in Virginia, where we have to change how we redistrict. This is all reacting to what's going on in other states. And I don't want to be parochial or tunnel vision. I don't care what you're doing in Texas. I don't care what you're doing in California. I want nonpartisan redistricting here in Virginia. I'm voting for that. I like lobster. I will buy surf and turf when I go to the restaurant. But I don't want lobster as my congressional district. Right down here, that little house, that's Goochland. This is what the redistricting plan would put in place. We would just be a lobster being boiled. And I've had this conversation with my friends in the Democrat Party. We understand we're going to disagree without being disagreeable, but this is not what I think is in the best interest of voters in. That's where I'm approaching this. Proffer money. That is a voluntary amount of money that the developers pay when they come into the county. They're going to make changes. They're going to increase traffic. They're going to put perhaps some economic stress on our schools, on our fire and rescue. And so we recognize that. We are reworking our model, and that we put a value on what does an age-restricted community do to EMS. What is the impact on schools? Age-restricted communities, not much on schools. Age-restricted communities, more ambulance calls. So we had 28 new kindergartners in the school system that we had anticipated And that was not organic. We didn't have a really high birth rate in the Goochland community. We have people moving into the county. So how do we offset those capital expenses through the proffers? And we are working hard with a group that is going to put the proper weighting on these factors and say, you know, if you're going to build a 138-home subdivision, we anticipate this number of students, we anticipate this number of EMS calls. This is going to require us to either build additional classrooms or add additional capital, whether it's a truck or some other service that is going to keep our level of service where it is and not diminish it. I think it's unfair to invite somebody to come to Goochland and say, by the way, you're not going to get very good fire rescue service, or you're not going to have very good schools. I think we need to live up and say, when we welcome people to the community, they're going to get what they would hope for and expect. Every road in this county is going to see more traffic. No road in the county is going to see less traffic. What is the development impact when we have folks coming in? So it is voluntary. There are the 4 big areas: schools, fire, roads, parks. It used to be you'd have libraries in there as well. That's no longer one. We have old proffers. We have new proffers. Dr. Braley, once again, has taken on a significant initiative, and I believe next month we will have a complete accounting, a forensic accounting as to how much money has come in, where has it been allocated, what is left, and where can it be done most efficiently to the benefit of the people here in this community. The new proffers are relegated by region, east, central, and west. So as development occurs in the eastern part of the county, proffer money will be dedicated to the eastern part of the county. That is a ordinance. It's not a choice. It's something that has to be done. We have, where's our executive director of the Palm Beach Regional Library? Stand up so people can see you. Who here has a library card? Okay, they're free, and there's great benefit to it. You know, you can read the Times Dispatch online for free with a Palm Beach Regional Library card. They are investigating whether or not we can have what I'll call smart kiosk systems, where you go online, you say, I'd like the latest Tom Clancy, but he's not writing anymore. So I want the latest novel that I want to read, and it would come to this kiosk. I've had a conversation, and the library's had a conversation with the owner of the Broadview Shopping Center, the Food Line, next to the ABC store, if that helps. And so there is an opportunity now for us to utilize the online book ordering system, have the books come closer to us. And folks, let me tell you, it is about a 12-minute drive to the courthouse. It is not a different country. You don't need a passport. I do it all the time. And it's a great library facility out there. But in this day and age of Amazon and next day delivery, I really applaud the library. They're looking at doing this, and I have to keep going here. So we have a community college in the courthouse area, and it's not doing anything. The last horticulture class was taught there last year. It's now down at the Reynolds campus on Parent Road. What are we going to do with those 99 acres? Delegate Navarre has been very helpful in that the Virginia Center for Advanced Pharmaceutical Manufacturing, and I'm not even going to try and say that acronym, is looking at establishing a pharmaceutical studies, a pharmaceuticals process there that would use a really handsome facility. I mean, there is a lot that can be done with that. And with Lilly coming, with AstraZeneca in Albemarle County, we've got operations in pharmaceuticals in the city of Richmond and also down in Petersburg. We're hopeful that this will take legs and we'll see people study the pharmaceutical life sciences industry, the right kind of addition to our community that we might be looking for. All right, we got 2 power lines that are being discussed here in the county. One is coming down and putting in a substation in West Creek. And that should not be a secret to anybody who really needs that kind of energy support. Virginia Dominion, I was about to call it VEPCO, and that's really old, but I think it's Dominion Energy, has filed a plan with the State Corporation Commission. My phone has not rung yet on someone saying, I don't like this plan because it goes straight down 288. I mean, it is about as non-invasive as a power line, I suppose, can be. This is, if you follow on the right, my right, your left, I'm not sure, but the kind of aqua line is what they have said is their preferred. So it's come down, it jumps over 288, and then it turns pink, and it comes down to that substation right here where Lily's plant facility is going to be in. If you have questions, if you have comments, it's still an open, and I think we have a Dominion, Virginia representative here tonight. If I need to dial a friend on question and answer, I'm sure I'll ask Julia to help out on this. There's also one in the western part of the county, and this one has really been in the news. I think Channel 12 had a piece on it last night. It's a 765 kilovolt transmission line that is not going to service industry. It's going to wheel power pretty much from Lynchburg up to Culpeper. And a lot of that is because Virginia is growing. More people are moving to the Commonwealth. More people need energy here. And so how do we get it from point A to point B? And it's these large mega kilovolt lines that do. There was a community meeting Monday night out at the Ag Center in central Goochland. There aren't a lot of people that say this is a good idea. They're not saying it's a bad idea to wheel power to where it's needed. They're saying not this plan. On the 7th, the board is going to vote on a resolution expressing that opinion that there is a better way to do this. It is not a good plan as been presented. If you wanted to kind of look at a more, I guess, stick person version of it, the yellow, blue, both are options that are being discussed. They would go through Goochland. The orange would go through Fluvanna, and all of them go through Louisa. So this is an open commentary period. If you have thoughts on it, I'm not going to be unkind, I hope, but when the TOD was under discussion, I didn't get a lot of phone calls from the western part of the county. Now that this is being discussed, I'm not getting a lot of phone calls from the eastern part of the county. And I hope it's not in my backyard scenario. We're a county, we're a team. And so if you have thoughts on this, good, bad, or indifferent, please share with me. I want to know, is this something that really needs to be aggressively addressed? And we don't want this coming through Goochland. I'm a Farm Bureau Director in the county. This will impact agricultural land. I think there's a better solution out there. I don't have that better solution right now. So I'm very hesitant to criticize, say, don't do it, do something else, but I don't know what it is. But I would really welcome your input on this. Hockett Road it's called the Hockett Road 8. And so the county has owned this property for decades. At one time it was going to be a school. Another time it said, well, we'll put a convenience center in there, which is a refuse collection center. And there's been discussion, should we put in a park? Well, the Parks and Rec folks have taken that question to heart, and they've developed a schematic that says, well, if we were to put a park in here, what might it look like? And so some money has been invested and come up with this plan, this schematic that says, well, this 80 acres could support a park, and it might look something like this. The reality is we have zero money budgeted for this. We do have about $800,000 in profit money that could start the process, and it may start with a trail, a walking trail. But if there is a desire, and I hear it, so I'm saying there is, to have a park in the eastern part of the county, let me know, call me, tell me, help me deliver on what you folks would like to see done. And so right now, the plan is, let's pursue having a park there. And the park may include a community building. I mean, we won't have to trespass on Benedictine's good graces to me. We would actually have a county-owned facility. There's a new GIS. I'm a geek. I like numbers. I like things that help me learn stuff. And so if you go onto the county website, goochlandva.us, you will see on the far right a button that says GIS. And if you go on that GIS, you can find all kinds of new stuff. It took me 2 hours. Mr. Winfrey and I sat through a 2-hour tutorial on it, and we just scratched the surface. But if you want an aerial photograph, if you want to know what the tax data is, what the history is, what the land use is, how far is that property from an intersection, all of that can be done. So again, this is informational. I'm not going to try and give you a tutorial, but go on the county website, and if you have questions, our GIS team would be happy to entertain and give you more specifics. There are buttons. I mean, you won't want to watch TV that night. You're going to play with this all night. We had a storm, Snowmageddon I called it. It's now really called Winter Storm Fern. And we have about $480,000 in unbudgeted expenses. The schools are also wrestling with that because the kids weren't in school for a couple of days, more than a couple. So we had some vehicles that were injured. We had some animals that had to come into the animal shelter. We had a water leak. Is anybody here from Lower Tuckahoe Mystic? Anybody know on Mystic Lane? We have a main water break down there, all due to Fern. So we are a well-run county fiscally. We have reserves. We're going to pay these bills. They weren't budgeted. And so just be aware that Mother Nature does not always play nice, and yet you should be comfortable. As Mr. Dean said, this is a safe community to live in. We do appreciate that public safety and the well-being of the residents is important to us. Conservation easements, I spent 12 years on the Monica board. Those are near and dear to my heart. The county has added a page on the county website explaining how conservation easements can be put on property here in the county. I don't know if Dr. Robertson's here, Whitey is here, not, I don't see his hand. He just recently, his bride just recently put additional property into an easement. So if you like this viewscape, if you think that you have property with a vista like this, perpetuity means forever. You can put a conservation easement on this property and it's going to look pretty much the same, so your great-grandkids will curse you because they can't develop it, they can't put a strip mall in, they can't put in a subdivision. You have preserved this land in an open space. And I went the wrong way. And so this is the final one, and then we're going to do question and answers, but we have apps. The sheriff has a great app. I know what roads are closed and when they're back open because my app tells me that there's been an accident or a tree across the road or too many squirrels in the road or whatever it is. So once again, these websites are available. Download this presentation once it's posted. Mr. Dean already referenced the heat map that shows where our calls coming from for fire rescue. And then Goochland has implemented, it used to be called Code Red, it's now Goochland Alerts. So if you are interested in knowing, do we have a derecho, do we have issues going on where schools are going to let out early or we're having to close the convenience center for whatever reason, all of this is available. Put it on your phone. I just mostly make phone calls on my phone, but I understand that you can put apps on there that give you this kind of information. We're going to take questions now, and as before, the first rule is it has to be on schools. First question has to be about the schools. Dr. Armstrong has been very patient. He's been here all night. Ms. Robinson might actually answer the question if it's on schools, but who has the first question? It's going to be on schools. We have microphones, so let's get the microphone out to people, and it's your show now. First question on schools.
You mentioned that there was an unexpected increase in the number of kindergartners coming into the school system, I believe last year, or maybe, yeah, beginning of this year. That was just the kindergartners. It was the total unexpected influx of students in the county. To me, the county is underpopulated, large expanse of beautiful land, 28 students, I understand why that would cause one teacher, one classroom, but what was the overall impact of increases in students? Thank you.
Thank you. We had 47 additional students in 25, 26, our current school year over the previous school year. And that's an overall increase in our enrollment. And one thing I'll note about the 47 students, 25 of those students receive special education services. And I point that out because sometimes there's going to be a different cost variable when it comes to services we provide for students, which can vary across the broad spectrum. But to your point, ma'am, when we talk about small class sizes, 47 students in another neighboring county, that may be 2 sections, right? That may be 2 teachers that you've had in elementary school. In Goochland, it's going to be closer to 3. We aim for between grades K through 1, no more than 18 students in class. And then in grades 2 and 3, 19, then you get to 4 and 5 with up to 20. We know how important it is to keep a small class size for early literacy instruction at the lower elementary school level. Similar secondary classes, those can vary more. We have 8 courses, some others, but we did have 47 additional students. We commissioned a study that we should be getting preliminary results in the next few weeks to get an updated enrollment projection study along with the housing yield. This is going to be really important. So when we get feedback to our partners in the Goochland Office of Economic Development and the Planning Commission, they ask, okay, how many students can we expect to come out of this new development? We want to be able to give them some rich data around that. So we're working with them thoughtfully, but great question.
You're allowed to ask another, so it's not like one and done.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Other questions that aren't related, the floor is open for those now too.
I'm not answering yours.
Bruce, if you use the mic, we call you.
Yes, so on the heat map that we showed for the gentleman who showed, who talked about the fire and rescue calls, looked like they were predominantly coming from the east end of the county, yet we are focusing on putting a new fire station in the west part of the county rather than the one on Pocket Road. Can you give me a little history behind that?
I can. First of all, we are building 7.
Yes.
So we're building 2.
Yeah.
And that's great. Chief, I'm going to let Chief take it.
Thank you, Mr. Lyle. So to answer that question, the new data dashboard for fire rescue, the information that you see there is only what you see has occurred since January the 1st. So as the year goes on, the map will get more colorful, so to speak, and you'll start to see all the call volume across the entire county. So we not only, when we look at fire station locations, obviously we look at density, we look at call volume, we also look at travel miles, we look at geographic area, we look at how rural the area is. We have lots of things that drive fire station locations, everything from response time data to ISO, insurance service offices, where we try to make sure that you all can get the best insurance rates based on how well we do as a fire rescue department. So I can certainly say that West Creek Fire Rescue Station 7 is going to move forward, potentially and most likely. A contract will be awarded on April the 7th to an architectural and engineering firm to start the design process at the fire station. We're well down the road with the Sandy Hook Fire Station. That's going to be Fire Station 8. We have a ground-breaking ceremony coming up on April the 7th there at Sandy Hook. It is also a prime location and a true need for a fire rescue station. We've had an ambulance that joined calls out of a residential structure in Sandy Hook since April of 2023 as a result of the roundabout construction of the courthouse. And today that ambulance has run almost 1,600 calls out of that house, about 75 calls a month. So the Sandy Hook Fire Rescue Station, in today's capacity, running only an ambulance, has risen to our 3rd busiest ambulance in the county. Centerville's the busiest, Mannequin's the 2nd busiest, and Sandy Hook is your 3rd busiest ambulance in the county, followed by only a few calls. So certainly we are moving forward with the West Creek Fire Rescue Station. It's a true need for it at the east end of the county. It always has been part of the plans going back almost 25, 30 years ago when West Creek was developed. We said then, and businesses were told then, that there would be a West Creek Fire Rescue Station. And so we think that, that the time is right for that now too. And so I'm hoping, Mr. Lyle, that you would agree that that is potentially going to be right on the heels, if not at the same time at some point, of the station that's being built in Sandy Hook. To some of these points, we are planning to use the same architectural and engineering firm that we've already invested time, effort, and money in to develop a floor plan for the fire station in Sandy Hook, which is just shy of about 16,000 square feet. Modern day fire station has all the things that you need in order to have control zones, contamination zones in your fire station and so forth. We use the same A&E firm in West Creek, saves us taxpayer dollars, saves us lots of staff hours and time and money, as well as just time in general. The architecture, the exterior architecture, while some may like the appearance of the Sandy Hook Fire Station, it looks very nice. I can tell you we're going to take a fresh look at the exterior of the West Creek Fire Station, make sure the architecture blends in like it should in that community. But a very similar floor plan. There are differences between the fire stations because you have the fire station in Sandy Hook is served by well and septic. And the fire station in West Creek will be water and sewer. So the building mechanics are very different, and the floor plans will be the same. So we're moving with is the moral of that story.
Mr. Robinson, here we go. What? How much? I'm going to I'll talk about it. People relax.
Books a lot.
You're going to live on the internet forever.
It's a quick question. Saw it in the document pretty quickly. I didn't get a chance to read it. Is the projection the ad valorem tax will be paid off and that portion of the real estate tax will be gone in 2030? Is that what I'm understanding?
The ad valorem tax is an ad valorem tax. It's an extra. It would go away, the real estate tax rate is not going to change. So you're still going to pay your, I'll use today's numbers, 53 cents on your hundred. That would not be affected by the dissipation of the payoff on the ad valorem tax. So what happens is you aren't paying $2,400 a year for ad valorem. You get like securities, I think, so you can go through. You spend your money the way you want to. But those bonds are paid off, there's no need. We are not allowed to collect the tax on bonds that have been paid off.
Projected to be paid off in 2030.
That's the goal.
I'm going to let Dr. Ray, he has a microphone right there.
The goal is to pay that off in 2030, and what this law also references, currently there's a share of general fund dollars that go to the Creek Service District. So there's a mutual benefit not only to the taxpayer, but that also frees up about $4.5 million in general fund dollars that can be utilized for other kind of services as well. So paying that off sooner really has mutual benefit in a lot of ways.
Thank you.
Let's go with Lee, because he hasn't asked a question yet. We'll come back. We'll let somebody help with it in a second. Raise your hand, Andy. There you go. She's coming.
It's kind of a two-part question. Chief, is anything besides the A&E in next year's budget? And that's for you. Is there anything besides the architecture drawings in the FY27 budget? Is there any construction funds?
So, if I understand it correctly, has the money been appropriated for the West Creek Fire Station construction? Dr. Ray, you probably have the best position to answer that, if it works.
Not yet. But yes, you can imagine the board's commitment to do A&E is a commitment to the fire station, and then the goal is between design and construction to identify those funds. You saw Mr. Ross, there could be a variety of ways to fund that. It could be additional debt service. It could be utilizing cash reserves that the county may have. It could be profit funds. It could be a variety of different ways to fund that project. It's yet to be determined.
I don't have a microphone, I can answer, but I can't get a microphone to somebody, so who has a hand?
Just as a follow-up to that more question.
Yes, sir.
Is the fact that Lily Pond and Amazon being contributed, is that factored into the 2030 payroll? Or would that be factored?
I do not believe we have factored specifics because they do not have certificates of occupancy. We don't know what kind of equipment Lily is going to put in there, what the tax rate on that would be. So we're hopeful, and that graph that I shared shows a projected 6% increase. Now, should and when, not should, Lilly comes online, it's a $5 billion commitment on their part. Now, that's going to help. We just raised the calculation. We have not done the forecast because it's just crude budgeting on our part, but we have worked with our financial advisors to make projections as to how it ain't going to hurt. I'm going to do like that. You're not going to go back to this one. Mr. Alvarez had a question.
Yeah, I was just wondering, is it true that we have a commission looking to celebrate the 250th anniversary of Declaration of Independence?
I believe Mr. Alvarez is bringing the microphone and speak at length. Mr. Alvarez, as many of us know, served faithfully and really set the bar high for those of us that are on the board now. He has done a tremendous job, has a tremendous heart for this community. I keep talking, we won't have a chance to talk. So.
No, I just wanted to let everyone know, we do have a commission. We're looking at programs to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. The first event coming up is on April 11th and 12th. We're going to have the museum that was created by the State Commission. It's going to be at the high school from 9 to 5. Oh, that's Saturday and Sunday. We're also still working to see if we can open it on Friday evening from 5 to 8. It's a really good place to go see what the state has put together. And then we're going to participate in the Jerusalem Day celebration, as well as on July 4th, we're going to have an event in the courthouse green. We're going to have reenactors and all kinds of things going on in the afternoon, and you can then go from there to watch the fireworks. Yes, it's on the Jerusalem website. You'll see all the events. I think we have a flyer in the back. We have a lot of celebrations coming up, we mentioned, with 250. And I joke with Amanda, and I tell her, if we have 250 years ago, she wouldn't be a constitutional officer, and we would have one. But anyway, so we are celebrating the 250th, we're celebrating the 200th, and then next year, we start celebrating the 300th anniversary of Richmond County. So we have about 3 years of time. So,
Is the question in back?
7.
It broke up. Is
I want to circle back to Station 7.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, I voted for the bond referendum in 2021, and I was certainly in favor of supporting schools as well as Station 7. And I do feel like it was a bait and switch. Station 7, as far as I know, 7 comes before 8, and the funds were diverted to 8. So now one of the possibilities is to yet again have another bond referendum to fund the station that I already voted on funding. How do you square that?
Well, I'll answer that we were going to build 7 and 8 eventually. So money is fungible, and so whether we use this cash or money, this bucket of money, pot of money, to build 8 and then 7, one way or the other, we were going to find financing streams for both of those fire stations. Now, one of my questions is, one of them was going to be funded outside of those bonds. So whether it was 7 or 8, they're both going to get built. They're both going to get built. Say it one more time. They're both going to get built. The challenge for this board and perhaps future boards, when they are approaching these, is how do we fund them? And frankly, one of the questions I want you folks to give guidance to me on, at what level are you comfortable the county, the supervisors, utilizing some of these proper funding methods, but they don't go to general obligation, they don't go to a referendum. I don't have that number. $1 million is too low. I don't think we want to have a referendum every time you buy a fire truck. But at the same time, when we start kissing 10 million, 15 million, 20 million, I start to think maybe I need to ask folks, do we really want to make this investment into renovating an old elementary school for offices? Do we want to put money into a really robust parks and recreation program, all of which could have significant financial requirements. I don't like that as a policy, but I use that as leverage. And so at some point, I want you to tell me, I want you to borrow money on behalf of the county. I do have the run companies, I'm comfortable managing finances, but it's your money, and I'm not comfortable making those decisions without input from you. These kind of laws are great. A referendum is absolutely, do you want to do it or do you not want to do it? And so I don't anticipate we'll have a general obligation referendum on Station 7. I've been watching what the profit money is. I'm not going to preview what Dr. Rayleigh is working on, but there is there's more than a couple of pennies in the nickel available through profit money, and then we are a Belgrade County. As I mentioned, we get about $5 million a year in interest income because of our treasurer doing a great job. So we're going to build both. Was it bait and switch? There was a pause. There was an investigation. I will take responsibility for my first year on the board. It's like, is this really the best place to put that station? Is there a better place to put it? We looked at putting something down where the HCA building was. We actually put a bid in on that property. Didn't get it. So I don't apologize for doing due diligence. What is the best option for the county? And I'm not really going to apologize for building Station 8 because I'm going to build 7-2. And there's going to be a time like 8 will have a ribbon cutting before 7, but we're going to build them. Any other questions? Yes, we do. There's Mr. Dean's coming up behind.
Sorry. Okay, this is also a follow-up on Station 7, which I think is also called the West Creek Station, right? It's going to be on Pocket Road. We already talked about Pocket Road and its situation. It's a 2-lane, pretty small 2-lane road, nothing on either side. How is it going to handle fire trucks, ambulances? What will your access from that station be going even to the West Creek? We'll probably come downtown from West Creek to 288, but there's a lot of county and a lot of District 5 that doesn't go in that direction, it comes in this direction. What is the plan to synchronize Station 7 with Pocket Road improvements? Thank you.
You want to call a friend on that? Chief? Step up, so I'll be calling you next.
So I appreciate the question. So the fire station, the property we selected for the fire station is down along Pocket Road, just a little bit to the north of Bedford Parkway. We will develop traffic signalization into the fire station construction project. There is a curve to the north. There is a roundabout to the south. We will take all of that, and we have taken all that into account, and that would be part of the design as to what type of signalization that will be in that particular project. I will tell you that I'm just answering the questions as honestly as I can, with no particular time to it. Today, the fire engines travel Pocket Road, so do the ambulances. We're going to be on Pocket Road, remember? That is a main road in eastern county. It's one of the best roads in the county when you talk about the secondary road system in Mitchell County. Mannequin Road, south of Cross Street, obviously no shoulders, deep ditches. Pocket Road, even though it needs some improvements, and it needs those improvements because of all the growth and development that's here today, as well as what's yet to come, it is still one of the roads that I would prefer to drive a fire engine. I have the most room in the lanes, I can eat cars, there's plenty of room. I'm not saying the road doesn't need improvements, I'm just telling you that all roads in the county that we have to operate a fire engine or ambulance, so Pocket Road is not Forest Road, neither is Fairgrounds, neither is Ashland. Ashland Road has its own set of challenges based on the fact of just congestion. So, yes, ma'am, hopefully there will be road improvements to Pocket Road. I think we saw that one piece of Pocket's going to be improved with the roundabout there, Hickory Haven, is not really related to the fire station question. Capital One also up pocket roads sometimes, and most of the time, because of congestion on Hickory Haven, particularly when the time changes. So we got to be on Pocket Road no matter what, because that's where the action is. And we think that that location gives us great access north, south, east, and west. We get the 288, we can get to Patterson, we can get to Broad Street, and we can shoot down Tucker Creek in the westerly direction towards Hurricanes Country Club. So when we look for locations to build fire stations, we look where the calls are, we look at the demographics as far as the ISO rating, but we also look for to make sure that we have road systems that we can get quickly into other areas. And all of the fire stations that we have today were set up that way back in the late 1950s and 1960s. So having the Western Fire Station on Pocket Road not only serves the business park, but it serves those communities that are nearby, Songbird, Ridge Branch, Mosaic, but it's right in the middle between Manning and Centerville, and it can equally support the Broad Street corridor and the Patterson corridor. It's going to be a busy fire station, no doubt about it. And all the development that we're hearing about, we know about, we know what it is, it's kind of all in that area. So, Mr. Lyle, I know you are well versed in transportation improvements to Pocket Road. I don't know much beyond the fire station signalization and the roundabout at Hickory Haven, but I would have answered your question. It's just the group on the street. We're already traveling Pocket Road, fire trucks and ambulances. We will be very safe. We'll be good neighbors next to what we've selected as well.
This question in back again, Mark.
This is, I think, more for Chief Ferguson. I spoke with Mr. Spoonhour last night, and he indicated to me that when Amazon opens, the traffic, the truck traffic, is going to be arriving between 8 p.m. and leaving at 4 a.m. And during that time, when there's a lot of traffic, truck traffic, the TIA, as I recall, calls for 1,856 tractor trailers per day traveling through there. The people in Parkside Village will be inaccessible to your, to the Centerville, from the Centerville station. And we had this discussion in planning stages of the Amazon, of Project Rocky, and you indicated that we would be serviced, emergency service most likely would be from mutual aid, from Hanover, and Henrico. Is that still the plan? It's wonderful that we're paying for bringing more people in. You got Station 7, Station 8, but we're being pawned off to other counties, which going through the GLE, I understand it takes longer when mutual aid is requested. If you go to Hanover, the 911 person has to get approved by somebody before they, and that can add 5, 10, 15 minutes. So, are we better to have a heart attack before 8 p.m. and maybe get response from mutual, or after 8 p.m. and have response from Hanover or Henrico? It's very disturbing.
Well, I'll start by the American Heart Association. We'll have to have a heart attack in the morning hours. I know that's not good because we don't want that to happen anytime. It's not a light comment, but we're concerned about the emergency services to the north of Broad Street at all hours of the day. I will tell you that certainly there's nothing I can tell you about Action Road that you don't already know. I drive it, I see it, I've said what I've said. And I'm not going to try to change your mind on Action Road because I believe that Action Road needs improvements, plain and clear. I know there are improvements on Action Road, but I'll tell you, as far as fire rescue is concerned, we're very focused on the residents to the north there. Mr. Levitt, mutual aid is always an option. We are never going to let the jurisdictional line or anything other than just trying to do the best we can stand in the way of us calling mutual aid. The good news is there's been mutual aid provided to Parkside Village over 2 times in the last 5 years. And they were what we would call structure fires or structural response. One was recently, one was one early morning call where we had a report of smoke in the house. I requested Rockville Fire at Hanover. Because quite honestly, they were really just as close as we are, but closer than their secondary resource. And the other was a call in Hanover as well. So we covered the calls in Parkside Village, and we covered all those calls today. The mutual aid is always in our playbook. This bridge right here is my lot. We have a mutual aid agreement with Powhatan County. We cover that together. We cover it together. So we are absolutely focused on that. But we're watching that area to the north. And you know, we give our full attention to the residents in Parkside Village as well as all the citizens who lived on National Road all these years. We still live there too, and their community has changed as well. What we're focused on, and we do the best we can, sir. We're as quick as we can.
I appreciate everything you've done this thus far. My concern is in a year or so when Amazon opens up and they have 1,000 employees and they're shift changing and 1,800 tractor trailers per day access from Centerville. I mean, we've had this discussion and it just is disturbing that the Fire Station 7, definitely. Fire Station 8, you need it. There's additional people that you want to hire for this as that's wonderful. It doesn't help. It's not going to help 200 plus homes in a 55 and older community, knowing that mutual aid adds time to the equation. And that's, you know, I have suggested putting an ambulance in the actual 64, making that maybe a mini county hub for the East End. But, you know, I don't want to see somebody die waiting for the guy in Hanover to approve it. It's just for the personally.
Right, Mr. Levitt, I've been a very huge supporter of fire rescue, and we appreciate that, and we've demonstrated that on numerous occasions. But I'm here to tell you that our plan is not to have your neighborhood serviced by mutual aid. I'm here to also tell you, though, if we are busy, and you have an emergency at your house or one of your neighbors, and I know that right at Fire Station 16 or Hanover Station 9 can get there quicker, there's no pride here that keeps me from making that request. It's all about life, death, and saving property. And so we're going to always do what's right. But we serve that neighborhood, we serve today, and mutual aid is always part of our plan when we're operating in jurisdictional boundaries. And we never let county lines stand in the way of that. That is not, I assure you, sir, that since most sincerely, that is not our primary plan to service your neighborhood in the future. I will also tell you, though, what you offer as an option is a good option. It's a creative way of thinking. And we need to continue to watch that going forward as things develop and change. Because things are very fluid, they don't stay the same. And hopefully there'll be road improvements to Action Road. And I don't know when, but I will tell you that we will do our very best to traverse that road and get to your neighborhoods as we do today. Yes, Amazon is a large facility, and we've been hearing about the trucks as well. And certainly, when there are employees that work there that will travel that way, all of that. And we also know that they're still doing some research of their own throughout the state, talking to other fire chiefs that have similar Amazons, that Amazon is likely to add another 70, 75 calls to our call load a year is what we're expecting. We think most of those will be emergency medical service calls, but certainly we have to be ready for a robust fire response. If there's a fire, if there's robots or a lithium-ion battery or something like that. So we're looking at all of that. We've done our research and we've surveyed departments in Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, Suffolk, Loudoun, Hanover, Rico, all that have the Amazons. So, but it's not just Amazon. direction you look on actually where something's being built, something's being considered, something's being advertised. And we have to take all of that into account. And that's their job to provide the service. And all I can tell you is to do your very best.
Thank you, Chief. I'm going to ask you all for a little housekeeping. And a comment was made just in passing, why is District 5 having a town hall and not just group it all in with the one size, or the countywide town hall? And I'm going to take the blame for you being here tonight because I had the opinion and maintain it that it's important for government to come to the people. It's 12 minutes to the courthouse. It's not another county. You can get there from here. But I do, this presentation tonight was highly focused on the eastern part of the county. The things that were discussed last night were important. There was a lot more detail in the budget. Should I continue to be sort of an independent cost and have eastern Goochland town halls, or do you want to just go to one side and everybody else?
That's great.
Maybe answer somebody if they have a barn that we can do the airplanes. Mr. Winfrey's going to share something.
Yeah, that's the thing. This is your show. I'm District 3.
We're on the same team, brother.
Yes, we are. And I enjoy working. I wanted to share a perspective that maybe we don't consider sometimes. And one of the reasons that we paused Station 7 was we had a lot of opposition to it. I say a lot, it was a strong opposition, not from necessarily a lot of people. It went so far as we had litigation filed against the county to stop us from building that station on Market Road in that particular location. So I'm saying, just be aware of the challenges that the board of supervisors have, because almost any project we have in today's time, there will be opposition to it. And if we're guilty of listening, we did pause that project, which sort of allowed Station 8 to move forward because it was already existing out there, and the operations needed improvement. But, we paused it, and during that time, we looked for other locations that may be more suitable. One of them was the old emergency room on 288 at HCA. We looked at that went away from us, was sold to someone else before we could get a position. Actually, I thought that it sold too much. But, so just be aware of things that are going on sometimes that, maybe behind the scenes that, cause things to happen one way or the other. That was one of the reasons we did pause the construction and movement forward on Station 7.
Thank you, Mike. Delegate, before we wind up, is there anything you'd like to share or any comment, or want to give out your phone number or anything like that? You've been very patient, sat here all night.
It's like we're here 2 hours now.
I know, yes.
I just want to say thank you very much for including me. I learned a lot myself, so I appreciate that. But I'm here with our chief of staff, Stuart Taylor. Our office, even though session is already over, our office is open all year round for constituent services. So you can find my contact information online, but happy to stick around and answer any questions that you may have, or give you my business card, that we are here to be of service to you. If you have any statewide issues that you need support, we work with local government, and also there's some things that may require some federal, so we will navigate whatever service that you may need and get you to a solution. So just want to just be here and introduce myself. So thank you for that.
Thanks, Delegate. She was a little, Stuart Taylor, her colleague is a native of Goochland, graduated from Goochland High School, never seen the book in it, so there's a lot to be said for a local film. I'm not going to cut off questions. The schools here are very trusting. There's no staff here. We just kind of leave and the doors lock automatically. So if you don't leave your car keys in here, you have to car keys back in. There's nobody here to let us back in. But if there are Additional questions? Dr. Rayleigh, do you have any parting comments?
I'll be around if you have questions.
All right, there are, these are the CTE culinary art cookies out there. The deputies have been standing guard to make sure that we're not unduly absconded with. But folks, I do appreciate you allowing me to work on your behalf. It's a different kind of job, but I tell you, I really do enjoy it. And that may be why I'm here. I'm not breaking ahead. It is a great pleasure. I've been in the county 36 years now. I've seen a lot of these changes. I'm not from here, but I'm going to die here. And so thank you all for showing up. My cards are out on the table. I don't think any of you have too much trouble finding me. I work for you. And there you go. Anything else, Ms. Robinson? Dean? Sheriff? You got any drive safe, right?